This is Bad Movies We Love, part of the Shice Podcast Network.
Hello, Bad Movie Lovers, and Happy New Year officially! I am your host, Nick Scheist, and welcome to the special edition 2024 Mini-Sode, half episode, probably not even a half episode, because if you listen to this show, you know that we tend to go on for a while sometimes, so by comparison, this is going to be pretty brisk. Believe it or not, next week, January 12th, is going to be the first official episode of Season 3. So, for the first episode of the new season, Donald Langley from You, Me, and a Movie is making his triumphant return to the show to talk about the cult sci-fi horror film Event Horizon. Now, Donnie was the first guest for the first episode ever on Roadhouse, and he believed in the idea then, and he helped me get the ball rolling on the show, so there's nobody I'd rather have on to celebrate the start of Season 3 with. Then, January is going to continue as what has become a kind of unofficial science fiction month, as my new friend Stephanie Kennerly will be joining me to discuss Daniel Espinosa's life from 2017, and the king of the shit show himself, Nick's Eclipse, will be back to talk about Stuart Gordon's Robot Jocks from 1989. You know, when I hear myself saying all this out loud, it's pretty wild. This show started as a mini-series on my other podcast, the Shice Podcast, and it blossomed just into its own thing. And from that 6-episode incubator, it became a bigger thing than I expected and has taken over as the primary show. I'm working my way back into producing and recording more different content for the other show. But the truth is, I have so much fun here doing this show, and only on Bad Movies We Love do I get to be
the master of this stupid stuff!
And a big part of that fun is getting to work with so many different people and getting a broad spectrum of films to talk about for vast number of reasons, and I would be remiss in my duties if I didn't take time to thank those people for their contributions. Carving out multiple hours during the middle of a busy work week to sit down with me and have a semi-serious conversation isn't always the easiest thing to do. So I want to make sure that I extend my thanks to Donald for helping me start the show back in the day, and for rejoining me to start this new season. I want to thank my buddy Erickson, who I've known since high school, and he joined me for the Demolition Man episode. My friend Jeff Hooks from the Let It Ride podcast. He joined me for Con Air. Corey, the football guy Carlson, joined me to talk about Freddy Got Fingered, which I gained a ton of appreciation for, talking to him about why the movie mattered to him so much. My friend Jacob Ayo from Kenya, who helped me found the Scheist International Film Club on Twitter. And now that film club has, 70 members on 7 different continents. I haven't looked at the numbers lately, but you've got India, Africa, Ireland, UK, US, Canada. So we're growing. And he joined me to talk about Wild Wild West, of all movies. But that was a really fun one, and I look forward to working with him on another project in the not-too-distant future. Of course, we've got Keith, one of the founding members, I should say, one of the original founding fathers of the Scheist International Film Club, who joined me to talk about The Island of Dr. Moreau. And he's, I think, still currently working on his upcoming podcast, Hollywood and Vine. Of course, I want to say thank you to Seth from Movie Friends, who's been on the show twice now. He joined me for Troll 2, and then he graciously nailed himself to the cross to talk about Battlefield Earth. You may know her as Vanessa, or you might know her as the mother of movies and TV, but thank you to Vanessa. She joined me to talk about one of my favorite bad movies we've ever covered on this show, and that is Velocipaster. And I'm tentatively talking to Brendan Steer about maybe coming on here and talking about Velocipaster 2, but I'm not getting my hopes up just yet. Of course, I have to thank Nick's Eclipse, who's been on the show several times at this point, and he joined me for Godzilla and King Kong and the original Troll, and he's going to be back very, very shortly, and you can check him out at Cinema Shit Show. And while we're talking about the shit show, I have to thank Ben, T-Bob, Obi, Ben Shinobi, whatever he's going by these days, but the other half of Cinema Shit Show. He has been a supporting patron of this show almost since the beginning, and him and Nix both joined me to talk about Showgirls, and I'm sure much to their delight, that is still the most listened to episode of this show, and I appreciate them, taking the time to sit down and do that episode with me, because we covered probably a lot more than we expected to. Thank you to Scott Cole from Music City Drive-In, who recently joined me for both Blank Man and the Mixed Nuts Christmas special, but he also recorded the Empire Records episode with me as well. So thank you, Scott, and we may do a little side project where we only talk about comedies from 1994, but we're just at the very beginning stages of that, but keep an eye out for that one. The other Scott from Film Club, Scott Moppin from Solutions of the Multiverse and The Perfect Show, joined me to talk about Meet Joe Black. So thank you, Scott, for that one. Thank you to Anthony from Double Feature Versus. He joined me to talk about maybe the guiltiest pleasure of all my bad movie pleasures, and that's Biodome. Thanks to Felicia from Seeing Faces in Movies, who joined me to talk about The Mask and was gracious enough to have me on her show as well to talk about our love of John Carpenter's Christine. Thanks to Lauren Wilkins, who joined me for Alien Resurrection, and her and I have a very similar sphere of bad movies that we love, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Lauren pop up again in the not-too-distant future. I want to say thanks to David as well from Real Talks, who joined me to talk about The Running Man, a great, fun, prescient Schwarzenegger sci-fi movie written by Stephen King under his pen name of Richard Bachman. My many thanks to Vanya Garraway, who runs Paid and Sweat at Review Cinema. She's been on the show many times, including most recently when we talked about Rocky IV as an unheralded Christmas movie about just determination and the power of the American spirit. I don't know if he's going to listen to this, but Kevin in Ireland, thanks for hanging out and talking about Hudson Hawk, introducing me to Hudson Hawk, and letting me know that I had that movie confused with a different movie for the vast majority of my life. But Hudson Hawk was one of the great joys of discovery for me in this last year. Kevin, if you listen to this, thank you so much. Of course, thank you to Sean, who's now been on the show a couple times as well. Sean Bennett from Film Club, he has been a big help in Film Club in general, and a very participatory member. I really appreciate not just the work that he's helped me do to this point, but also that he cares so much about the club and that he's invested in it, and that he joined me to do Morbius. I think it was maybe the newest movie that we had covered on the show at the time. It might still be, but Morbius was one of those movies that got so meme-ified that sort of threw the baby out with the bathwater with that one. So I'm glad we got that opportunity, and we got to talk about Maximum Overdrive, one that is a sort of haunting, coke-fueled nightmare from the 80s, also a Stephen King one. Thank you to Shauna from Sparky About Movies. You might know her as Cinema of Screams. She joined me to talk about Resident Evil, and that's the first Resident Evil movie with Mila Jovovich. I know there's like 7 of them at this point, but we had a lot of fun doing that. She also came on the Shice podcast, and we talked about her love for the Scream franchise and Scream rankings. We did some Scream trivia. It's a really fun episode over there at the Shice podcast if you want to check that one out. Whether or not you're a Scream fan, if you like horror, you like movies, it's a good conversation. I, of course, also want to thank Movie Miss, who's joined me for Congo, which was a ton of fun just watching Laura Linney be a badass. And her co-host at Let's Talk Turkeys hopped on the show, and we did American Werewolf in Paris. And that was a lot of fun, too, because Dave did not like that movie. Movie Miss did. It was the first time that we really got to do a 3-person episode with 3 sort of varying opinions around one movie, and that was a lot of fun as well. My thanks to Elliot, who joined me for Starship Troopers, as he was in the middle of Verhoeven discovery time, and that's a great place to be honest. So thanks, Elliot. Of course, I got to thank Ryan from Film Club, The Chew Defense. He joined me for Sucker Punch, which at the time I wasn't sure was going to sort of resonate with people, but then in the long run, not only does it resonate with people, but it turns out that the rated R version of Sucker Punch that we actually want is something that Zack Snyder also wants, and I told Ryan we should take full credit for putting that out into the universe. And he also joined me for Ernest Scared Stupid for our little Halloween special, so thanks, Ryan. And I want to thank Michelle McBride also, who did her first ever podcast episode right here on this show with the aforementioned Obi-Ben Shinobi when we talked about Hot Rod and how that movie has a lot of really intelligent underlying themes surrounded by a bunch of ridiculous, dumb things, and why it's so endearing for that reason. So thanks, Michelle. And I've got to thank Newman from Movies for Days, who joined me to talk about not the first Swamp Thing, but the return of Swamp Thing. And we really got into some deep territory talking about the origins of the character, the history of the character in comics, how that translates on screen, what the challenges are, and what the future of this character on screen looks like. So thanks, Newman. I'm looking forward to coming on and talking Copland with you on Movies for Days. And of course, none of this would be possible without my incredible, very supportive wife, Kristen, who joined me on this show to talk gymnastics and the gymnastics movie Stick It. That was probably like mid last year, somewhere around there. So thanks, babe. I love you. And I want to give a big shout out and a big thank you to Sharon as well, who made a large one-time contribution to the show that went a long way. So thank you so much, Sharon, for that. If you like the show and you want to support what I'm doing here, you can do that at ko-fi.com/badmovieswelove. That's ko-fi.com/badmovieswelove. I know the branding is all scattered all over the place, but for the intents and purposes of donating to the show, that's how you do it. You can also like and subscribe to the show if you like what I'm doing here, and leave me a rating so that if there's something that you don't like, you can let me know about it. You can also reach me at badmoviesweloveluv@theshice.com via email, or at badmoviesweloveluv on X and Instagram as well. And speaking of patrons and reviews and that kind of thing, I said that I was going to give away a copy of Anna and the Apocalypse to anybody that either signed up and subscribed, reviewed the show on Apple Podcasts, or anybody who made any size contribution throughout the week from, I think it was Christmas to the end of the year. So at this time, I'm going to spin that wheel of destiny, and we're going to find out who it was that wins the Anna and the Apocalypse Blu-ray, I think. I don't want to overpromise, but the Blu-ray is a little hard to find because it's coming from the UK. Oh, and it's going to be our buddy Seth at Movie Friends. So I don't even know if he's seen this movie, but he's going to have a copy of it pretty soon. So keep an eye out in your mail, Seth. It's coming. And before we get out of here, I want to just take a moment to acknowledge a couple of small but cool milestones that happened while I was sort of away. You know, I got married and I went on my honeymoon, so December was a month that I wasn't really in the office at all. I wasn't in studio too much, so the fact that I was able to produce any episodes actually with everything that was going on was surprising. And I looked, and right around the new year, I saw that the show had crossed officially the 2,000 download threshold. So thank you to all the people out there that listen and download the show. I know that's not like the most gigantic number, but I don't have a lot of episodes of this show. And as I've always said, word of mouth is the best way to help. So that means the people that are listening to this show, like you, are actually going out and telling other people to listen to the show, and that's amazing. I never thought that would happen, so thank you so much. And part of that as well is the show also, at the same time as it passed that threshold, also broke the 1,000 mark threshold for unique listeners, so different IP addresses that have listened to the show. So that's a pretty amazing milestone as well. And as we head into the rest of 2024, I'm going to start to slowly add additional things to the members only content section at coffee.com. And I think I'm going to reach out to a couple of digital designers to help me with a little bit of a sticker project. And that's going to be something that I'm looking forward to, because I think that could end up being really cool, because it's just going to be sort of like an inside type of joke for the people that actually listen to the show and listen to these crazy ad reads that I do. And speaking of ads, I am packaging up the data for this show, and I'm going to reach out to some advertisers, because the goal was never really to be supported by listener donations. I mean, ideally, I would like to just be able to get enough funding to make this show pay for itself, so that I don't have to stress about that. You don't have to stress about that. We can just get together, have a good time. And so that's the goal. It's not that I don't appreciate the donations. I very much do appreciate the donations. And if you want to keep those coming in, by all means, I'm not going to stop you. But I think what I ultimately want is member tier stuff, so member specific stuff, and then hopefully just enough advertising in the targeted markets where I don't have to sweat, you know? That would be really, really nice. And I don't know that I have too much more to say beyond that, at least not at this point. I've got episodes lined up. I've got multiple recordings to do next week to get us on track for the rest of January. So if you took the time to listen to this, of course, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge all the people that have helped me along the way, and that includes the listeners of this show who have spread the word. So until next time, please be well, stay safe, have fun however you get your movies, and if you have a bad movie that you love, that you want to tell me about, that you want to talk about and share with other people, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. So until next time, take care, everybody. Happy New Year.